Good morning. It's a brand new day, a fresh start, a clean slate, and another chance to grow. Whatever happened yesterday, leave it there. Today is about showing up, staying grounded, and taking one step forward. You're doing better than you think. Take a breath, set your intention, and let's make this day count. I didn't do a meeting yesterday, but I am the hospitals and institutions chair in the Hamilton area. So I settled some things. The beautiful thing about that meeting was that I was actually able to do a step nine, a proper amends to the individuals in the meeting, to the panel members. And what that amends entailed was being the chairperson of the entire panel. I had to make an amends for some dramatic events that happened last month, which involved a couple recovering addicts. And it got pretty stressful and pretty dramatic. And in the end, uh, a member with very little clean time started some drama with a member with decent clean time, and it forced the other person with decent clean time to leave the panel. The reason why it was my fault was because, as the chairperson, I should have read the policies and procedures right after I was voted in. And if I did, I would have known that that individual with very little clean time, thank you for the rose, I appreciate it. Very little clean time, thank you, I achieved that goal. Thank you. Bao Ken, thank you. If you'd like Bao, please join my fan club. I'd appreciate that. Yeah, I made the amends. Everyone accepted it, and it went very well after that. So now it was in the end, it was a learning experience, and which I appreciate. No one took any offense to it. Everyone accepted. Thank you for joining my fan club. So just so you know, so I guess we'll just jump right into it. So that we're going to read from is this one right here, just for today. This is a daily meditative read. It's specifically from Narcotics Anonymous. Okay. And today is July 8th. July 8th. Okay. All right, July 8th, the G word. It is important for you to know that you will hear God mentioned at NA meetings. What we are referring to is a power greater than ourselves that makes possible what seems impossible. That's IP number 22. So IPs are the pamphlets that you'll find in the Narcotics Anonymous meetings, and it's called Welcome to NA. Most of us come to Narcotics Anonymous with a variety of preconceptions about what the word God means, many of them negative. Yet the G word is used very regularly in NA, if not constantly. It occurs 92 times in the first 107 pages of our basic text and appears prominently in a third of our 12 steps. Rather than sidestep the sensitivity many of us feel toward the word, let's address it head on. It's true that Narcotics Anonymous is a spiritual program. Our 12 steps offer a way to find freedom from addiction through the help of a spiritual power greater than we are. The program, however, doesn't tell us anything about what we have to think about that power. In fact, over and over again in our literature and our steps and our meetings, we hear it said, the God of our understanding, whatever that understanding may be. We use the word God because it's used in our basic text and because it communicates most effectively to most people a basic understanding of the power underlying our recovery. The word we use for the sake of convenience. The power behind the word, however, we use for more than convenience. We use that power to maintain our freedom from addiction and to ensure our ongoing recovery. Just for today, whether I believe in God or not, I will use the power that keeps me clean and free. This is a wonderful read. because it definitely applies to many people I find in the program. A lot of individuals, a lot of people, they cringe at the word God, right? And I notice that it scares a lot of individuals away from going to the rooms. They start to think that it's a religious program. But in one of our readings, it says this is a simple, spiritual, not religious program known as Narcotics Anonymous. So it makes sure to emphasize not religious, right? It is very understandable that a lot of people had negative thoughts when they came in on the word God. But we do emphasize that it's a God of your understanding. And everyone's God of their understanding will be different. And that's amazing, as long as it works for you. Now, when it comes to me, I was raised Orthodox. And, when I was younger, God was somewhat used as a punishing tool. There was moments where, I would be told that God did that to punish you, right? Now, when you're younger, that sticks, and then you start to build a resentment towards a higher power. But that's because I was young, right? I didn't. When you're quite young, you don't really have that open mind. You don't really have the thought process to use something in a positive way initially, right? Our minds are just forming. So as I grew older, I got into active addiction. But then I got into the program. I realized how important the God of my understanding is for my recovery. It's essential, right? Step 3. We decided to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. So therefore, your God could be anything, right? As long as it gives you that internal power to get through, because you need a God of your understanding to push through the steps 4 and 5, because in 4 and 5, you dig very deep. You write all that stuff down. You have to face your fears, your pain, your traumas, your resentments, etc. And not only that, then you need that God to support you. So that way you could speak to another individual of all the things that troubled you and that pretty much pushed you into your active addiction. But if you could do that, that will set you free, right? Us storing all that stuff in here is the reason why we were in active addiction, is the reason why we drank so much booze, so we can cope and kill that pain and try to function until we couldn't function any longer, right? Our lives became unmanageable. In the rooms, I've noticed that a lot of people's God of their understanding, it ranges, and it's amazing. I love to see it because I love to see how it works in other people's lives, right? A lot of people have Jesus. A lot of people just say God. There's Mother Nature. A lot of people just choose their own religion that they've grown up in as a God of their understanding. I've seen people just keep, create the rooms themselves. The meetings themselves are their God. A lot of people use the acronym group of druggies, right? Or a group of drugs, or drunks, sorry. And that's what they would use as their God of their understanding when they get into the rooms. And it worked for them. One person uses that acronym, and they have over 30 years recovery, right? So it works. It's very obvious that it works. So my understanding, for me, it's Christ, right? It could be different for anyone else. I'm not big on the organized religion. I believe it's important for me to be Christ-like. And what that involves is loving each other unconditionally, helping one another, and forgiving one another. Those three things. I believe that if we can live within those three things, life will be so much better. And it has been for me. Life has been pretty incredible as long as I live by those rules. And I pray and I meditate. And when I pray, I ask for things in my life, not materialistic things. I ask for strength. I ask for hope. I ask for more compassion, more empathy for others, and more patience. And God will give that to me. And the way my God does that is he puts it in front of me, puts those tests in front of me, gives me someone that would make me impatient so that way I may practice patience, right? Gives me someone who, in the past I would never feel sorry for or empathize for. And, that's my test, to practice more patience, to practice more empathy and be compassionate to those. We don't know what other people are going through. And we have to open our hearts and our minds to our higher power so we can gain that courage to be able to be better than we were yesterday. All right. So what do you guys think of the G word? What do you guys think of God as your higher power? Write that down in the comments, chat. I'd appreciate that. I'd like your opinions as well. You don't have to have it all together. You just have to keep going. Every step forward, even the small, shaky ones, they count. Progress isn't loud. Healing isn't always visible. But if you're trying, you're winning. So breathe, show up, and remember, you're not alone, and you're stronger than you think. All right, so we will get to the SPAD. Now it's titled, We Give What We Can with Gratitude. Every act of service, no matter how small, is a contribution demonstrating our commitment to our gratitude. That's in Guiding Principles, Tradition 7, word by word. The seventh tradition is confusing at first to most of us. The basket is passed, and our reaction ranges from surprise because we thought this was free, to guilt because we have nothing to put in, to shame because people see we don't, to resistance because do we have to indignation because hell no. In time, we absorb the meaning of Tradition 7, appreciating the importance of our contributions as a demonstration of our gratitude and our commitment to self-support. We give what we can, when we can, and sometimes more than we thought we ever could or would, not just with our money, but with our skills, our passion, our empathy, and our time. And we also come to understand how contributing to NA demonstrates our commitment to the program and gratitude for its impact on our lives. Beyond the basket, it's tempting to assume that service that requires an election, gives us a title, or takes a lot of time has the most meaning. A member aptly shared this. We are often asked if a glass of water is half empty or half full, but I'm not concerned about how much water is in the glass. I just want to know how good the water tastes. The quality of NA work we do is more important than the quantity. Every bit of love and gratitude we contribute has value. Sometimes momentary acts of gratitude have lifelong meaning to another addict. Remembering a newcomer's name or saying welcome home to a member returning after a relapse. And then there are those acts of service we use to occupy us so that we can endure the terrible awkwardness we sometimes feel. They can help us stall long enough to get up the guts to ask someone to sponsor us. They keep us busy until we are ready to receive hugs. At times, just having something physical to do before or after the meeting can help us keep it together when our insides feel like they are ready to spill out. These contributions are self-supporting in a different way. We're grateful that they are getting us through challenging moments. What time, talent, or treasure can I contribute to NA today to show my gratitude? What can I do to make an addict feel more at home, even if that addict is me? This is fantastic. This is a great read. Saying a grateful addict will not use, right? And I strongly believe that. It really applies to me. You know, the more I'm grateful, the less I feel the need to want to use anything or drink anything. I'm grateful for the rooms. Now, tradition 7 is all about contribution, but a lot of people, a lot of people tend to think it's the money tradition, right? That's what a lot of people call it. And it certainly is not. Yes, we do recover for sure. Yeah, it's not the money tradition. It's all about contribution, right? And you can contribute in so many different ways. Like right now, I'm not working, right? So I'm both feet in the program, and I do a lot of service work, and that's how I contribute. I contribute by being the hospitals and institutions chair. I'm the alternate literature rep for my area. I'm the newsletter chair for my area, so I write the newsletter. And what else do I do? Oh, I'm the GSR in my home group. There's something else. Do I do anything else? Anyway, I also enjoy the fact that they use the word contribution, right? I remember I used to use the word donate when I would be putting money in the basket. And yes, NA is considered a charitable source, but an older member with a lot of clean time once told me, you're not donating, right? When you donate something, you forget about it. You put money in the basket, you never return, right? That's a donation. It's a one-time thing for a lot of people. But when you use the word contribute, you're adding to something. You're being a part of something when you contribute. And I completely understood once he explained it that way, right? You're helping something grow when you contribute. So now I apply contribution into my life. How will I contribute today? That's what it literally says on my home screen on my phone. I have a notepad on there, so it reminds me, how will you contribute today? And the way I contribute in my community is that I help out at a warming center for the unhoused drug addict. I've opened a meeting there every Saturday morning. So now all these lessons that I'm learning within the meetings, within the rooms, have now carried over into my regular life. And that's important. That's part of this program, right? So that we can be respectable, responsible members of our society that will contribute to society, that will help make it better.
I am grateful that I got to show up for my stepdaughter and be the model that she requires right now in motherhood, as she has my grandson.
Amazing.
She is 17 and my grandson is 7 months.
Oh,
We got to have a
congratulations.
good heart-to-heart last night, and I am just profusely grateful that I got to be that person for her in my recovery. In the
Oh,
past,
that's beautiful.
I would not have been able to be that person to show up the way I did. So for that, I am very
Right.
grateful for the journey that I have endured and that I am on. And there is no destination.
That's right. It's all about progress, not perfection, right?
Exactly.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you're grateful for that. Whereabouts
And
are you? It's so busy.
I am in Tim Hortons in the
Oh,
mall.
are you?
Yes, I'm waiting for Rogers to open their friggin' doors so I can yell and scream at them in a very polite way.
Something going on with your phone?
Yeah, I've got to try to get them to downgrade the plan without getting rid of the phones themselves because I don't want to have to pay the tab for it.
Hmm.
Went down to talk and text, and they still
There's
give
my
her
daughter.
data with it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So you're a pretty young grandma, eh?
Yes, I am. Not even
That's
40 yet.
okay.
I'm already grandmother.
That's all
The
right.
interesting part is my grandson is also like he's my step grandson, but he's also
Hmm.
my third cousin.
Oh,
Yes, on my dad's side of the family.
okay.
She is my DOC's daughter.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. How's your recovery going today?
Today it is going well.
Hmm.
Yesterday I walked around Lily Lake and was in a box battle at the same time and was able to, give that sense of serenity and peace to the other individuals in live. Excuse me.
Nice. That's
But yeah,
amazing.
yeah, I got to have childlike eyes for the first time in a while with a childlike mind and have that wonder of nature all over hand.
Childlike mind.
Yeah, you know what? Getting out in nature is very therapeutic, especially for our recovery. Right? It helps you get out of your head too if you're doing a bit of overthinking.
Yeah.
That's what it does for me anyway.
So, what are two things that you love about yourself now that you are in recovery? Yes, I'm turning it back on you. Oh, wait, my
Well,
DOC is calling. I will
okay.
be back momentarily.
All right, sounds good. Grateful for this program, Narcotics Anonymous. It got me off of, drugs and alcohol. It saved my life. But I am also extremely grateful for my family, right? My family, although I thought that they would reject me because of my issues, in fact, it was the other way around. They were rejecting me during my issues because, well, they're mature adults and they could only handle so much immaturity. And now I understand why they were pushing me away was because I just wasn't being myself. So I'm grateful for my family that when I did admit that I had a problem, my mother and father were there for me, right? Yeah, sure, they were slightly disappointed, but who wouldn't be? It's just a common reaction. It's a normal reaction towards something like that, right? But it was their actions that proved that they loved me, and they're always there for me. So that is what I'm grateful for. So let's go back to the reading. It says at the end there, what time, talent, or treasure can I contribute to NA today to show my gratitude? Right? What can I do to make an addict feel more at home, even if it's me? So, you know, I do the service to help myself out, but other ways that I contribute is greeting newcomers to the meetings, right? Being a safe person, I approach them, talk to them. I do say welcome home when it's their first time. I do congratulate them for, gaining some courage to actually make that first step into recovery and coming to the meetings. Because that's huge, right? The first day you go to a meeting, you're scared, right? I was really scared when I first walked into the meetings. I wasn't sure what to expect. So it's important to be that safe person, you know. So uh, it says here one of the paragraphs because it does talk about the money, right, with the basket being passed around. Yeah, you don't have to put anything. Every NA meeting, every NA group is fully self-supporting, right? So we do have to support ourselves, but if you don't have the money, it's okay not to put it in. Initially, we don't have any money when we walk through those doors. We've spent it all on drugs and alcohol, so it's understandable. But I do find that once you do gain some clean time, of course you're going to be saving a little bit of cash if you have a job. My advice, my suggestion is once you do start having some money in your pocket, give back, right? It's the best thing to do. If you don't want to do any service, right? I get it. But, you're coming to the meetings, you're drinking all the coffee, you're eating all the cookies and donuts that we have out for you at our home group. Throw a buck in, you know, throw $2 in. Heck, there's a lot of old timers, you see, it's not unusual to see old timers throwing in a 20 when they come to a meeting. But a lot of times that's because they go to one meeting a week. So they'll rotate throughout the week to each meeting every day. And they'll throw in a 20 as their contribution. Now, I'm not saying for you to throw in a 20, but it's good to contribute because once you got some green in your pocket after being in recovery for a while, it's important to give back, right? You got to give back what was so freely given to you. And that's very important because when you start giving back, you start feeling gratitude, right? You want to help, and that will help with your recovery. It'll make your recovery stronger. I really appreciate you guys being here. I really appreciate you guys listening. I really hope that I made someone's day. I really hope that this started your day off strong.